Welcome to the F3 podcast, where we discuss all things that pertain to faith, family, and finances. And remember, no subject is off limits. We are your host today. I am the lowly but humble. I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can change anybody. I am Dr. Lionel M. Blair Sr., and I'm sitting next to the grand, glory,
goodness.
the glorious, the delicious.
Stop that!
The sainted mother herself, Saint Jasmine the First, Dr. Lionel. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm
Mrs. Dr. Lionel.
Mrs. Dr. Lionel. Yes, because you are Mrs. Lionel Blair. So, Dr. Jasmine Blair.
Welcome everybody to the F3
Welcome.
podcast. If this is your first time here, you'll get used to this after a while. We
look crazy.
We apologize for shocking you, but I promise we got the Holy Ghost. Listen, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that little notification bell over there in the corner so you'll be notified every time we drop a new episode. Make sure you take us with you on the go. You can find us where your favorite podcasts are streamed. Be sure to check out the links in the show notes in the description box to find out about everything else we have going on. And if you want to find out more about being an avid supporter of the F3 podcast, you can drop us a voicemail. Click that same support link and it will give you the option to let us, if you got a question you want us to answer, you got a topic you want us to talk about. Remember, no subject is off limits because we'll talk about what your pastor wants. And we definitely going to talk about what your pastor wants today. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you kick this one off.
So with with sexual sin running rampant, I think it's important that we talk about sexuality overall. And I believe that we demonize certain aspects that are normal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As versus to really bringing everything into its proper perspective. I'm all about putting things in its proper place.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to talk about the fact that the saints are horny. Okay. The saints are horny, y'all. Okay. And if you're offended by the word horny, I'm sorry.
You might want to get off now before it's too late. You know how you're going on one of them bridges and they tell you this is the last gas station for like the next 10 miles. This is your last gas. This is your last exit for like the next 30 minutes. So I promise you might want to go ahead and cross that line and get off that exit now before it's too late.
But then too, some of y'all just need to grow up. Okay, just like hearing a child hearing a dirty word. Oh, he said horny. Yes, you're gonna hear it plenty more times.
This your last exit.
If
you get off now, you won't hit the median.
Right. No, but for real though, because there's a difference between like first of all, sexuality is not a sin overall. The entire subject.
First of all, who made being horny a bad thing? Because if we want to go through biology, right? We want to be politically correct. They tell you arousal is a biological response. And go look it up, do your own research.
Yeah.
It's a biological response. It's something that can happen without your control. It can happen while you're awake, while you're asleep. You don't have to be thinking something dirty or inappropriate for 1 + 1 = 2.
And
so who made being horny a bad thing when it is a biological response that the body goes through?
Well, that's not the correct word.
But
it's aroused.
All of a sudden, because you say
your
arousal ain't supposed to work the way it worked before. See, this the stupid stuff I don't understand.
Honestly, a lot of these faithful, it don't work the way it's supposed to work because they didn't wasted it when they was out there in the world. They spent it all up. You was a whole freak in the world, but now you can't be a freak for your spouse. Okay, that's a problem. And we've counseled so many married couples too, and people have said, well, and we talk about married couples. Okay, God honors the marriage covenant, right? So
the married sex.
Yeah, I believe in drawing a certain line, yes, but we we've had people say, "Well, I only do it missionary style," and there were spouses that have told me this, and it was mainly women that told me this. I only do it missionary style.
And
I
there's a
said,
reason
"Well,"
for that. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you
I
go
said,
first.
"Well, look at who you're sitting next to. Do it look like that he wants to just do it missionary style all the time?" I said, do he look like he want to do it missionary style?" "No." I said, "I'm pretty sure he told you about this."
he might want to flip you over.
And because we've seen the other end of the spectrum too, where you want him to do it like Johnny used to do it. Okay, and that means that you ain't still delivered from Johnny. Okay, but anyway, I
Because
think
he might not have Johnny knees.
yeah, he may not have Johnny knees, Johnny Peen. Okay. He may not have Johnny Peen or Johnny Stroke. He ain't John. You need to be delivered from Johnny. Bless God.
In all senses of who Johnny is.
Yeah. But see, there's a statistic running around that I heard too. They say 80% of Christians are fornicating. 80% of
Because
their
their biology did not stop working because they said, I gave my life to the Lord.
And there's nobody here to give you an understanding of your biology either. Okay, you up here every time you feel something, you up here trying to bind the devil.
But I want to go back to something you said real quick, because you said something important about, the women in the sex piece. One thing I don't think is talked about enough, and I'm seeing it more again, the millennials are bringing it to the forefront. We are not talking about how purity culture is pushed on young women and girls in the church more than it is pushed on young males and boys.
Uh-oh.
So women are often taught sex is bad, don't do it. You do it, you're going to hell. And men are taught that too. But that switch is so different for women, because it's like, okay, one day I'm supposed to be going to hell, and the next day I'm just supposed to drop it and pop it. That you can't just make that kind of switch like that.
Right.
And you do not see the forcing of purity culture on boys and young men the way you do girls and young women. And it's a problem. And it starts at home, yes. But we don't need to push purity culture the way that we're pushing it, because it's religious and it's out of fear. It's just like you don't want somebody serving the Lord just because they're afraid to go to hell. If somebody is keeping their purity just because they're afraid that is wrong or bad, once you let that monster out the cage, that's it.
Yeah.
What we should be teaching them is, hey, in the right context, this is wonderful. This is great. This is a beautiful thing. But it has to be in the right context, and that has to be the honest, not the religious conversation, the honest conversation, not just the diseases, but the honest conversation of what all goes along with it.
Yeah.
And people are not having these conversations. Well, their children, I've posted on social media, and I've had other pastors get all upset. Well, we can't talk about that in the church. Why not? People are married. They doing it in the church, in the school, in the car,
in the church, in the pastor's office.
So why not? Well, we should just leave some stuff to the family. How are we counseling people's marriages? And I've posted this. 70% of divorces are initiated by women. And they did a study that said in those women that are initiating those divorces, most of them are unsatisfied sexually. There's a correlation between a dissatisfaction in sexual pleasure and the divorce papers. So we need to be talking about sexuality, because there's a link between women not being happy with the sex performance and them leaving. But we don't want to have. So how are you counseling people that are struggling, but we're not talking about the fact that somebody either want to be flipped or don't want to be flipped? Some people are embarrassed. They have shame. They have trauma. Yeah. There's something there that's not being talked about.
Yeah, they want to be.
So how are you addressing a marriage? Stop. How are you addressing a marriage, but you talking about everything but that? That don't even make sense, especially when God created it.
Yeah, for real.
So how are we picking and choosing what we addressing? How is it you can say, well, I can talk to you about that. Oh, well, that ain't my business. So are you counseling the marriage or what? Are we selective?
I think we need to start encouraging also along with that
Uh-huh.
healthy marriages. We need to start encouraging healthy marriages. Um,
That's a
healthy,
whole nother topic.
yeah. Because see, this is the long term solution. Healthy marriages, okay. Because if we don't, I mean, the saints gonna keep fornicating. But again, we need to encourage healthy
Because
marriages.
we're trying to convince people that biology is bad, and that's the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
Like I said, just because you say yes, Lord, hallelujah, your biology still works the same way it did before. It don't stop, it don't lessen. For some people, it will actually increase. But that's a whole nother teaching for another setting.
That's like trying to demonize puberty. Like it
Exactly.
happens naturally because your body
Exactly.
is coming into another phase where now you're beginning to produce the eggs. You're beginning to produce the semen. You understand what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
this is why, you know, at the stage of puberty you have like wet dreams and stuff, because your body is learning to create and produce now.
Right.
We need to be, but see, we demonize biology and say it's a devil.
That part.
So so can you imagine telling little kids because he woke up with a little with a semen in his drawers because he going through puberty that that's a devil? No, that's
Exactly.
the natural
That that's
processes
that's
of the
just
body.
stupid. Stupid.
That's a natural process of the body. But see what it is that we have hyper holiness.
Woo! That's good.
We have people who are hyper holiness trying to, and I believe in holiness, but I don't believe in hyper holiness.
Right.
Because even the Bible tells you, I think it's Ecclesiastes, don't be overly righteous. For
Yes.
why should you destroy yourself?
That.
So this destruction in coming and trying to be overly righteous instead of accepting the righteousness of Christ,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and accepting the grace of God. Not an excuse for you to do to be lawless. But see, when you accept the righteousness of Christ, you understand that you're not righteous upon your own merit. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so so hyper holiness, we have people that are of the hyper holiness persuasion addressing this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have hyper holiness people addressing stuff, they demonize everything. They demonize what God made.
Mm-hmm.
They demonize what God made. So 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 when the body begins to experience these changes, okay, or when they begin to experience these different things, it's like, okay, you know, do I warfare or do I channel that energy into something else?
That part.
Because see, and I ain't trying to sound new agey with some of y'all, because some of y'all will say this is new age, but I don't care. So you know, because our body is full of energy and electricity and nerve endings and things like that, okay. So when you have a lot of sexual energy trapped there, okay, you don't know how to handle it, okay.
Go find something to do.
Go find something to do, okay. Go find something to do. Some people exercise, okay. Some people go find a hobby, okay. And then some people, they just masturbate to
Some
get it
people
over with.
write a book. Some people write a whole screenplay. That
Yeah,
find something constructive to do. The key word is constructive.
yeah, don't be
Find
in a man's bed or a woman's bed.
find something constructive to do, because the reality is, if you put your focus on something else, that probably be the best book you ever wrote, that be the best screenplay you ever wrote, that be the best meal you ever cooked, the best recipe you ever came up with. The problem is we don't know what to do with ourselves.
Yeah.
The old folks used to say idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Hmm.
Find something to do. So if you've got all this energy, that's not the problem. Being aroused isn't the issue. It's that you are not using that time to be constructive and do something else that actually matters.
Hmm.
Find something else to do.
Yeah.
Find something else to do. Don't just sit around. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to put my mind on something else. Get up and go do something else.
Yeah.
Find something productive to do. And if you're single, your focus should be service unto the Lord anyhow. So you should be in the Lord's house doing something.
Yeah. When you're single, the Bible says you should dedicate yourself to the things that be of the Lord. See, the problem is that y'all don't maximize your singleness. for God correctly.
No.
And this is why, and
Oh,
this
that's
is why,
good.
and this is why your sexual appetites overtake you. Is nothing wrong with what you're feeling, is the fact that it overtakes you because you spend more time on you than you do on the work of the Lord and serving the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said it. So, so
You working on you instead of working for the Lord.
uh-oh. Right. So, so, so if you're entangled in the sheets, I would advise you to get out. You know, we do not encourage adultery or fornication by any means. All right, but we do acknowledge the fact that biology ain't broke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, biology ain't broke. And I remember one time, and this is way before I got married.
Oh Lord.
You know, my wife always say I'm just so authentic and I'm too honest, but
I don't know
that's just
what
how
you
it is.
about to say.
I told God one day, I said, Lord, take it away. I said, Lord, because during the time I had so many women throwing it at me. They were saying pretty much everything except come get me. They was throwing it at me. I said, Lord, Lord, if you don't send me my wife soon, I said, I'm a mess up. I'm a mess up because
and that's the honest
yeah,
conversation you need to be having before God.
Because hey, I'm trying to live holy, but I am a man, and I'm a man and I'm not a virgin. So I'm just like, okay, Lord, I'm trying to hold out here, but these women keep throwing it at me, and some of them won't have bad looking. So I said, Lord, take it away, take it away, take it away, Lord. I was in prayer. Shanaba kadaba shataba. Lord, take it away. So, the Lord told me, he said, no. I said, no. What you mean, no?
Mm-hmm.
What you mean, no? He said, what you're experiencing is natural. He said, it's how you go about it that determines whether or not it's a sin.
Right.
I said, so you gonna leave me hanging? You gonna let me you gonna let me struggle, because it wasn't like I was lusting after women or anything like that, or it wasn't like I was watching pornography, or anything like that. It was a natural bodily processes and a natural attraction that a man would have for a woman. See, let's deal with this. Okay, a man a man is made to like a woman, and a woman was made to like a man. Admiration is not lust.
That part.
Okay, let me say that again. I know I'm messing with your theology. Admiration is not lust. So if you're a man and you see a beautiful woman and you recognize that, like, hey, she's beautiful, or she may be attractive, or whatever the case may be, it's not a sin to acknowledge that. See, lust is the sin. Lust is when you start fantasizing.
And both your eyes wander and just here, there, everywhere. You just look like you rolling your eyes around because you focus on any and everything that move.
You know what lust feel like, So and it's the same thing with women. A man may be built a certain way that you like, wow, he's built like that, or he looks like that. Okay, like there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that.
Mm-hmm.
See, again, hyper holiness says that you have to cut all that off.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is why when y'all do get married, you don't have nothing to give your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
because you trying to kill it dead, and then you trying to revive, do some CPR. Come on.
Yeah, just like you dropped it like it was hot in the world. Came to Jesus, got delivered,
and now you laying it down like it's warm.
Then you laying it down like it's warm or it's cold. And then you're so holy it dries up. Okay, and then when you get married, okay, like you don't even really enjoy it like you're supposed to.
Now you also got to talk about the flip side of that, because there are some people They may not kill it dead, but they don't actually master being in control of their sex drive either.
Right.
And I saw this meme once. It was hilarious. They had a jar with some water leaking out of it. It said Christian with a sex drive. They put a piece of tape on it and it said marriage. Marriage does not fix lust
Really don't.
issues. If you
really
cannot control your sexual appetite while you're single, being married is not going to solve it, because in natural happenstance, there are times when people just not in the mood. They just either they tired, maybe you're going through different changes, maybe y'all just had a baby, maybe it's that time of the month. It's just not always feasible. So getting married is not a band-aid to put on a sexual appetite that you have not tamed.
Right.
You are going to have to learn how to manage yourself and how to go find something productive to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing about lust, it has an appetite that simply cannot be filled. It is a bottomless pit. And you can have the finest this and that. They can have all the right humps and lumps, but nothing will ever satisfy you enough, because you did not manage to get delivered in your appetite. So that's the other side of it too. Yes, there's biology, but biology don't mean just be out here crazy.
Yeah.
You've got to develop some discipline.
Yeah.
And that is a very, very big issue. It's one of the reasons why we see, all these different scandals and we hear all these different stories about these situations. And it's like I always say, Godzilla rose up because somebody knew early on that was a problem in that person. And they either didn't address it or the person got offended and did not want to be accountable for what was going on. And then years later, it will destroy their marriage or split a ministry or whatever. So there aren't enough people talking about the importance of taming it. You just tell people, oh, just get married. Getting married is not the solution. That's the worst thing you can do, because then you project all of that lust on this person.
Yeah.
That they might want to drop it like, they're like, okay, I'm tired. Then what?
Because lust, one thing about lust is this: lust is never satisfied.
Ever.
Lust always has this appetite for more. So now granted, the Bible says it's better to marry than to burn with lust. But see, on the flip side of that, it's also bad when you got to marry because you're burning with lust.
That part.
Now when you get married and you have not been delivered from lust, you want to know what happens? It turns into something else. Because so for example, and I'm gonna get graphic here. I am because see, a lot of y'all do it. Sorry. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So a person who's struggling with lust, they get married, and of course the first few months the sex is great. You just have sex all the time. Sex for breakfast, sex for dinner, sex in the middle of the day. Risky sex, all that's just sex. And then after a while, all that dies down. The sex
because realistically, nobody can live their life and go to work on time and not be fired with all that.
Yeah,
you can't do that every day. Like that for the first couple of months, it's fine. And somebody be like, okay, I'm gonna be late for work.
Yeah, exactly. And then the
kids got to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. Just a bunch of variables in that. So then the sex may die down.
Got Bible study,
but the appetite to want to explore more does not. Okay, so then then you want to bring a bunch of crazy toys in the bedroom, and then you want to watch pornography, and then
because the person ain't enough no more.
Yeah,
because the other thing with lust is not only does the appetite want more, but you become desensitized. So whatever it took to arouse you or get you, it's not enough anymore. Now you got to add all this extra stuff. Now you got to add the pornography, because it's going to take feeding it more and more and more for you to have that fix.
And then you want to start swinging and and then you start going to sex clubs, sex parties, and you start doing all this other stuff. Like, we heard some stuff. And for the wife, she may want to bring somebody in the bedroom, or for the husband, he may want to bring somebody in the bedroom, or he might want the wife to put a strap on, which is y'all nasty if you're doing that. You're nasty. Yeah. Anybody who takes up the behind is nasty. All right, that's not normal. All right, it's not normal. Your body won't made for that. I know y'all don't like it, but it's okay. But anyway, lust is never satisfied.
Never satisfied.
Never satisfied. Your spouse ain't enough. And listen, I'm not religious, when it comes to what people should be doing in the bedroom. I'm not religious when it comes to that. Okay. But you got to have a limit. Lust don't have a limit.
That's it. That's good right there.
Lust don't have a limit, y'all. Your biology, and I'll just switch it for a little bit. Your biology tells you what's legal and what's not. People used to ask us all the time, okay, like, what can we do with our spouse? What can we do? I said, well, look at your biology, look at your body.
Read your Bible, first of all.
yeah, that too. But the vaginal hole was made to be an entrance and an exit. And I'm gonna help y'all married folk out too. It's an entrance and an exit. It was made to be like that, right? Your mouth is an entrance and an exit. For those who have the question about oral sex, God. Food goes in, air goes out, breath goes in, sound goes out. Okay, so your mouth was meant to be an entrance and an exit. So I encourage oral sex in a marriage if that's what y'all like. I encourage it. Okay, lick and suck away if you're married. All right.
Help Jesus.
But when it comes to what people call the bread basket, okay, that's meant to be an exit only. And all y'all who find pleasure with your bread basket being plundered like that, you are perverted and you need deliverance. You need to go through a sexual detox. And that's for men and women, because some of y'all women like it too. Okay? Some of y'all women like it too. All y'all who find pleasure with your bread basket being plundered like that and destroyed and demolished, you need deliverance. I'm so serious. You need deliverance because it was not made for that. It was made to be an exit only. Exit only. Exit only. Research your biology. Exit only.
Okay. They got the point. Now I want to bring nasty. Okay. Nasty. They got the point. They're clear.
Okay.
Now I want to bring it back though, because even with some of the other things that you mentioned that aren't necessarily a sin, the key is that y'all have to be on the same page and both parties needs to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Because, okay, somebody might not have an issue with oral sex, but the other person might be like, hey, you know what? I don't know about that. Or there might be somebody might not want to be flipped, or maybe not yet, maybe in a year or two. The key is both people need to be on the same page.
That's true.
Because sometimes the issue isn't just something strange. Sometimes there's this forcing, and that so-and-so used to do it, or I like it like this. But if this person, first of all, whatever you like got to go out the window. You're on an intimate journey with your spouse. So it has to be what y'all like, what y'all intimate are comfortable with. Yeah. And it's a journey. It might be at one place and then it might get to something else later on. But the key is both people need to be comfortable. And that's not a keep asking them, keep badgering them about it kind of thing. That person is not comfortable. Hey, revisit it in 6 months, revisit it in 3 months, revisit it next year. Maybe make that a part of your yearly conversation. Okay, well, we've gotten here. Is there anything else that you thought of? Is there something you want to try? Is there something that maybe we can explore together? Both parties have to feel comfortable in this journey. If anybody feels like, well, I'm doing it just because, or I feel like if I don't do it, they're going to cheat, then that's a problem. And that's not a safe place to have an intimate journey.
Right.
And there's a lot of women in the church, and some of y'all watching this for you. You done some stuff that you didn't want to do because you felt like, well, if I don't do it, he gonna find somebody else to do it. No, ma'am, that is not for you, and that's not a safe environment to be in.
Yeah.
Because if they'll go get it somewhere else, that means it wasn't about the journey together in the first place.
Yeah. There's a difference between sexual needs and just sexual desires and appetites. Okay.
That's good.
Sex overall is a need, but within the context of sex, people have appetites and desires that need to be talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, a lot of our
That's good.
desires come from what we've experienced in the world,
Mm-hmm.
or it comes from, unfortunately, our experience with being either violated or exposed to things prematurely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you got to examine your appetite. Why do you like what you like?
Where did that come from? Where did you first see it or hear about it, or what did you walk in
Yeah,
on?
because some things are biology and some things are just perverse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't demonize biology. All right, but if you like what I mentioned earlier, you just like to be demolished from. I'm just saying, because see,
Oh goodness.
outside of masturbation, that's the subject that people don't
Talk about.
talk about that the saints are doing. Y'all doing it, baby. Y'all doing it. Okay, outside of masturbating, y'all do that too. All right. So men and women in the church.
In the church.
In the church. But see, don't nobody talk about it, and we bring light to stuff that folk don't talk about. But people love to say, well, you shouldn't talk about that in the church. I'm talking about on my podcast. How about that? How about that? We talk about it on the podcast. But see, the reason why it's a problem, because y'all don't talk about it in a church or in a setting where the saints can gather. And honestly, a lot of y'all need to be healed and delivered sexually. Now, he's not going to deliver you from the natural biology,
Right.
but he's going to deliver you from your perverse appetites. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Your perverse appetite, because some of y'all want stuff that ain't natural. And that's how you know it's not God, because it's not natural. I said it. I did say it. I sure did. And before I take it back, I add more to it. So so we need to learn how to handle and I'm kind of switching gears again a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We need to learn how to handle our biology, the natural chemical reactions to things. Because some people get excited about stuff, and that is triggered. You know, remember, because all of this stuff is connected to nerve endings in our body. All right, there are nerve endings from our brain all the way to our genitalia. So some things that stimulate our brain can stimulate other parts. Nobody talks about that. This is science. There's nerve endings from your pineal gland all the way to your so certain spiritual experiences you have can sometimes stimulate certain things. Now, God will never make you just want to have sex. No. But they're natural biological responses to certain life or spiritual experiences.
People can be scared and be aroused.
Yeah, for real. For real. This is why even in the witchcraft world, you have witches that use sex either for rituals,
Mm-hmm.
or you have some witches that abstain from it
Mm-hmm.
because they say that's a portal to the spiritual world. I've heard them say it. They say they don't have sex like that, period, because it's a portal to the spiritual world. So you got to be careful who you connect with like that. Even some witches got more sense about sex than some of the saints.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Any closing remarks?
Who we
Find
I
something to do. That's my
find
closing
something to do.
remark.
I know
Find something to do.
I know we skimmed past this, and there's more stuff that we can tackle in depth, but we scratched the surface of this. But I want to say this. The Bible, the one of the gifts of the Spirit, the fruit of the Spirit, is self-control. Self-control. And to have self-control means that things don't get out of control. Things
That
don't
part.
get out of hand. We make mistakes sometimes. Yes, we do. But when your mistakes get out of control, that's a problem. Fruit of the Spirit is when you have self-control, when you have the self-discipline not to do something or not to let something get out of hand. So ask the Holy Spirit for self-control.
Absolutely. Well, listen, thank you for joining us on the F3 podcast. Definitely be sure to click that notification bell so you'll be
Yes.
notified every time we drop a new episode. And follow us over on IG at King and Queen Blair. Until next time on the F3 podcast. Goodbye.